thank you so much for joining us. I myself am in communications, so I don't know anything about SAS at all, actually. So it'll be excellent learning experience for me today. So it's an honor. I do appreciate you being here. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, can you tell us a little bit about your career pathway and your 5 books?
Well, I started as a statistician, so I have a master's in statistics, and first started using SAS in 1977. And our group, I was working at Texas Instruments at the time, our group needed better statistics software, so we actually bought SAS, or started to get SAS available to us. And the lead statistician in our group actually purchased it from Jim Goodnight, who was the developer of SAS, and we needed to get estimable functions for ProcGLM. So, and he wrote that. So that's how we first got using SAS. Over the years, in 1983, I became an independent consultant, first in statistics, and then over the years I've done more and more in SAS and less in statistics. So most of my consulting work for the past several years has been in SAS and applications development and a lot of macro stuff, things like that. And throughout the course of that is when I wrote the books. So I did a lot of SAS Graph early on, so that was my first book, was SAS Graph. So I have 2 titles in SAS Graph, one on Proc Report and then the macro language.
Wonderful. Very accomplished. That's excellent. And according to you, Art, what are the 3 most valuable strategies to which someone can become a top SAS programmer?
Well, I think the most important part of that is just to keep learning. It's real easy as a programmer, not just in SAS, but in any language. We learn how to do something well, and then that becomes the way we want to, program or to use that tool that we know well. And it's very easy to that can become a trap. If you only have a hammer, then everything has to look like a nail. And I think the most important thing for us to do is to keep learning, and we have to go outside of our comfort zone sometimes to do that. So we want to force ourselves to make sure that we learn. And to do that, there's a couple strategies that I take, and when I'm teaching SAS, this is what I try to impress upon my students, is that you need to take 20 minutes a day, a minimum of 20 minutes a day, to learn something new. And you need to go outside of your way to do this. It doesn't count that, I'm doing a proc print today and I learned a new option, that ought to count. You've got to go out of your way to learn something new, and you need to spend 20 minutes of it doing it. And you need to go outside of your comfort zone to do that. You need to find what are the things that you haven't yet done. Maybe you haven't tackled the DS2 procedure yet, and that's fairly new. It's pretty complicated. It's something you need to do, and so you've got to take the time to do that. So 20 minutes a day, step outside of your comfort zone, and really look at the documentation, and with the effort of learning it, not just to solve the immediate problem. So those are the things I think I would suggest.
Excellent. Stepping outside the comfort zone. I like that.
Real important, I think. A lot of people, the saying is that, you'll hear people say, I've got 10 years of SAS experience. And I have to always ask, well, is that 10 years of SAS experience, or is it 1 year of SAS experience 10 times? And for a lot of people, they get caught in a job where they're doing the same thing over and over again. They're not really learning, and it's comfortable, but it's not really learning.
So to push oneself then.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. And Art, what is your favorite SAS procedure and why?
When you asked me that question, I've been thinking, I don't know that I really have a favorite SAS procedure. I spend most of my time in the macro language, and which, the macro language is a code generator, so it's used to write the procedures and the data steps. So I think that that's where my favorite is the macro language. That's what's kept me involved in SAS for now 40 years. That it's still new and difficult. It's still challenging sometimes to write the macros that will do it. So I think that it's not quite the answer to your question, but I think that's where I'd go. If I really was forced to pick a procedure, I think I'd pick Proc FCMP, the function compiler procedure, because it allows you to write code that can be saved and then reused in the macro language. So Proc FCMP, I think, is my favorite right now.
Excellent. Okay. And as far as any closing words or any advice on how to use SAS?
Well, SAS is used in so many arenas, so many industries, that the saying on the west coast of the United States is that there's no such thing as an unemployed SAS programmer. I think that's really true. Once you learn the language well, then you can pretty much pick the industry and pick where you want to live and still work in the SAS arena. And there again, you need to have a real broad base on SAS to do that.
Okay, wonderful. Well, this was very informational, and once again, I really appreciate the time. I'm wishing you a fantastic weekend and a really fantastic summer. Hopefully the weather will turn around for the both of us and get really warm really quick.